Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Mitchell. Hey, in today's video I want to talk about heartbreak and moving forward. This is one of those things where every single person in existence who ever gets into a relationship is going to experience at some point in life, and potentially, like I have, multiple different times. The more people you date, the more people you get attached to, and as life goes on, this is going to happen. Eventually, it's going to come to an end. Well, we don't want it to, but most relationships don't really work out long term. Okay, people are either going to come in your life for a reason and leave, or they're going to stay there for for good, and that's what we're hoping for. But I want to go ahead and start off by saying, like, here's the reality of this situation that people aren't going to want to hear, and there's three things to it. Number one, if you get broken up with and you didn't want it to happen, and you're going through that shock and you're forced into that grieving process because you lost somebody and your heart broke, number one, that's the worst pain you're more than likely ever going to feel in your life, emotionally, physically, mentally. Number two, the good news is that pain will go away in just a matter of time. And when I tell you what I do to get over heartbreak, it doesn't take as long as you think it would. But in the moment when we're in pain, that time span is going to feel like an eternity. And that's just the reality of things. And then number three, everyone is replaceable. Okay, you're either going to get your ex back. So if you're down the road, you might get your ex back, but just know, if both parties do not work on themselves, and more than likely the person who broke up with you isn't going to do that, they're either going to be the same or in a worse place. That relationship dynamic is more than likely going to be the same. Even if you improve, that might make it a little better, but that's not guaranteed. And that's something that you need to weigh out the pros and cons of. In fact, a lot of people that do get back together, the person that got broken up with the first time is going to be the one to leave the second time around, because they have outgrown that previous relationship and that person. They've healed and they've become a better person. And then, if I didn't already say that, number four would be everyone is replaceable. Okay, and so with that being said, then more than likely, you're going to find somebody that's going to meet the criteria that you now need in your life, because from that past relationship, you're going to understand what it is that you want and then what you don't want. Every relationship that you have should be about either growing together or growing separately. And so if you're growing separately, that means you guys broken up, you're still growing. And what you need and want in a partner is going to develop and change over time. Okay, that's just a natural cycle of life, and that's how it happens. You have to be able to learn from your experiences, and I'm going to talk about how I do that later on in this video. Okay, but everyone is replaceable, and more than likely you are going to find someone much better. I have had several girlfriends in my life, and every single time I have always found a girl that treats me in the way that I wanted to be treated. And then obviously it either ended, I broke up with them, or got broken up with, and the insecurities that either I had or they had came to light. And that's just, again, we're growing separately, but that allows me to grow as a person. And that's going to happen to you, and that's going to happen to everybody. You can't run away from this unless you stay single for your whole life. Okay, now, as far as heartbreak goes, let's touch on obviously nobody wants to go through this. This is one of the most devastating things in the world. Nobody wants to do this. Unfortunately, you would think that, especially like if you're married and you have vows that you want to stay together forever, women break up with men about 70% of the time. Okay, I saw a quote on YouTube, and it was, this guy was like, I don't think women possess the ability to love men as much as men love women. And because women's hormones are much different than men. Now, I don't have any proof on that, but that was an interesting thing that this guy pointed out. Women look at the relationship based on how they feel about you. So it takes time for a woman to fall in love. It takes time for a woman to fall out of love, okay? So if she's breaking up with you, she fell out of love with you a long time ago, and she probably prepared herself for that. Whereas, men, we tend to hang on to stuff because we're born into a world where we have to build our lives. So if we're with a woman, we're going to want to fight for that. And if we leave, that woman must have done something enough time for us to say, just fuck it, man, this isn't worth my time anymore. Okay? So heartbreak is going to be one of those things where, it's going to hurt so bad, man. It's going to hurt. The first, month is going to be the worst time of your life. And that's just it. Okay? You have to accept that. The only way that you can heal from a breakup is to allow yourself to feel the feelings that come to mind. So if you get sad, spend some time by yourself. Go cry if you have to. If you get angry, go fucking scream in the house, punch a pillow, have conversations like with your ex. Obviously, like you would be speaking, you would act like you're role playing basically. You want to allow yourself to feel those feelings, because what you're doing is when you allow your mind to go through the grieving process, which is, it's like denial, sadness, anger, and then acceptance. That might not be the order, but I know it starts with denial and then it ends with accepting. When you allow yourself to go through those phases, you're going to get closer to acceptance. And when you accept the breakup, that is the turning point that's going to allow you to move forward. So the first step right there to getting over heartbreak is put your fucking ego aside, man. Okay? I don't care how manly you think you are. Go and fucking cry in your room if you have to. Go cry. Go break something in your house. Go punch something, scream. Do something to allow yourself to just get angry and upset over the breakup, especially if like someone like me, for example, I know that I'm a high value man when it comes to being in relationships. If you get broken up with, and you genuinely know that you were a good person, yeah, man, you have every reason to be angry. So allow yourself to be mad. That's healthy. That's how you slowly start to work through the process of grieving. Everyone has to grieve. So your ex is going to go through this process at some point in time, okay? Now, yeah, they broke up with you, but they're choosing to leave you. They're not losing you. So that's why you may hear that women tend to come back around when their ex-boyfriend starts talking or dating another girl. Well, there's a couple reasons why women do that. Women are naturally competitive in that manner. But that woman more than likely thought that she could just get you back at any point in time, and now you're fucking moving on, as you should. Okay? As you should. So, first step then, so that first month is going to be typically the hardest. So for me, I tend to start feeling like normal, or I start to find my confidence again around like the 2 to 3 month mark, mainly the 3 month mark. So the more time goes on, the more you're going to find yourself again. So it's like, so that 3 month mark for me is typically where I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm going to go out. I'm going to start talking to girls again. I'm ready to talk to girls, hook up, go on dates, etc., find somebody new. Because the way you have to look at it, at that point in time, when you find your confidence again, hey, it's your ex's loss. They left you, you're lost, buddy. Now, as long as if you did something bad, like you cheated on them or you stole from them or something like that, well, then that's your problem. They're not losing anything. You deserve to get broken up with. In that case, you need to apologize for being such an asshole. So yeah, that first month is going to suck. But let's talk about how you get through this process, okay? So like I said, the more time goes on, the easier it's going to get, and that's going to start the process of moving forward. So the more time goes on, what's happening is you're going through that grieving phase, okay? So once you get to month 3, like me, this timeline is different for everybody, okay? Your ability to go through the grieving process and allow yourself to act on your emotions, not towards your ex, but by yourself, okay? Leave them alone. Don't fucking talk to them, ever. They're dead to you until they reach out to you. But you need to allow yourself to go through that process, and then over time, so once month 1 goes, month 1 is usually going to be denial and sadness. Denial is typically going to happen is like that first couple weeks you get broken up with. And then sadness and depression comes usually after that, all right? And then again, the more you experience that, you're going to start feeling better over time. You're going to start thinking about them less and less. They're not going to crowd your head as much as they used to. When you start finding a new guy or a new girl that you're interested in, that you want something to happen with, whether it does or doesn't, your focus is going to shift on to this person, all right? Now, so then we have to allow ourselves to feel something. What has always helped me, having such a growth mindset, is I allow myself to reflect on the relationship, which you're naturally going to do if you go through this process. And what I encourage you to do is look at who you were in that relationship and then you can see, okay, you know what, I did things like this. I was being needy, I was being controlling, or maybe I overreacted when we would get into arguments, so I need to work on like emotional control. And if you understand women, you should never argue with them. Or maybe you were afraid to set boundaries and they just walked all over you and then eventually just got rid of you. Okay, there's so many different reasons why your relationship could end. But if you can look back and see who you were in that relationship, like I do, so, you know, in several relationships, or like my last one, for example, I definitely displayed like needy behavior. I was texting all the time. But I've always done that. Every girlfriend I've ever had, I would text like all the time because that's all I ever known. I didn't know that talking like I didn't. Okay, so my coach now says the phone is for setting dates. Getting to know them should be done in person. And so my whole life, that's all I've done is I would just text all the time over the phone. So that's not allowing my girlfriend to like miss me, to have time away from me. And so that would be like smothering her because I'm always in her face. She never has time away from me to go and think about me, talk to her girlfriends or her family about me. And then I would like push to hang out. And again, at that time, I didn't know that the woman should be the one chasing the man, not the other way around. Because we've grown up with media and movies, or the guy's got to pursue the girl and it's his job going out and chasing. So at some point in time, I always thought, it's like sales. You know, if she tells me no today, well, maybe if I keep trying, eventually she'll say yeah. So that's been my mentality. And then you learn that, dude, it's the complete opposite. That you put yourself out there, be direct, tell the girl that you want to hang out, set up a date, and if she says no, okay, move on. And then once you guys start talking, it should be her. When she reaches out to you, you should assume she wants to see you, and then you set a date from there. But you don't need to be doing the pursuing. It's natural women behavior. It's like genetically coded into them to be the ones that want to give love and nourish the relationships. The man's job is to pursue mission, purpose, passion, break through barriers. You know, the woman should be a part of his life. He shouldn't be chasing her, pedestalizing her, if that makes sense, okay? So going back to that, you know, when you self-reflect, you get to see behaviors that you did that you're like, hey, you know what? That might turn off anyone. I should find a way to learn how to not do that anymore. And so for me, for example, I started studying laws of attraction between men and women. I started studying attachment styles to understand how each person falls in love after a certain amount of time and that emotional bond gets set. And a lot of that attachment styles are basically mindset. So how someone is raised by their parents is going to dictate how they behave in a relationship. So even though I just got done telling you that I was being needy and over pursuing this specific girl, well, the way her parents raised her, she just knows it's safer to be by herself. So I was feeling like an option the entire relationship after some point. And so that's going to make anybody anxious, because a normal, healthy relationship, both partners want to be together. But I'm chasing her and she's like, oh shit, I need to pull away because this isn't comfortable for me. So that's why I made the comment earlier. If you know you were a good person, it's okay to be angry, because more than likely it wasn't your fault. But that does not mean that you didn't do anything wrong. You still need to look at your behaviors and say, hey, you know what? I need to work on that. And so that's what I've been doing. So I studied attraction, relationships, attachment styles. I started studying life coaches. I've worked with relationship coaches and a life coach trying to improve myself. My current coach right now is Corey Wayne, one of the most popular ones in the world, if I'm not mistaken. So I've been studying him, reading his books and whatnot, et cetera, to try and adopt his mindset and principles, because success leaves clues. So if he's helped thousands of other men get the lives and the results that they want, and I'm not getting the results that I want to go out and study someone that knows what they're talking about, okay? So that's what I've been doing, and my mindset's totally shifted because of that. Oh my God, I'm going out now. I'll talk to girls now that in the past I would have been like, I don't know if she wants me or not. But now I'm like, fuck yeah, of course she wants me. Look at me. I'm 29 in a wheelchair, but I'm fucking gorgeous. I know I'm worth talking to, right? I like to view myself as like an alpha male, you know. But that mentality will only come after some point when you get through that pain from the heartbreak and you find confidence again, and you have to start working on yourself to become confident. So I've been practicing social skills to go out and meet new women. I've never had an issue talking to people, but I've also never actively practiced going up and meeting new women. And when you're in a relationship for a long time, you don't have to do that anymore. You kind of just forget how to do it. And so when you bring that back, like when you go learn how to do that again, you start feeling better and better and better. And you're like, fuck yeah, this world's mine. That's how I feel. And it's awesome, man. But like I said, that usually comes around like the 3-month mark. And then every month that goes on, you're going to start feeling better. And this is at the point where now we're at month 3. So we went through we're grieving, we're feeling sad, we're getting angry. Now we're starting to self-reflect. Okay, so we're self-reflecting, and now we're going out and learning how to improve our relationship skills and dating skills and pickup skills and attraction skills. So that way the next girl that comes around, whether it's your ex or someone new, that has a chance to become better or meet someone better. And at that point, that's where more than likely you're not going to be hurting anymore. You're not going to be thinking about your ex as much anymore. What they're doing, you might think about them, because that's natural to think about them. That's normal, okay? But they're not going to like eat your fucking mind like they will be the first like 2 months. Like I said, the longer time goes, the more, time plays out in your favor in all aspects of life, whether it's getting them back, moving on and finding someone else, or just being okay being by yourself. Right? Time heals everything, and that's always been true. That will be consistent no matter what happens in life, okay? So then, now that we're working on our skills, you're going to notice when you start working on these skills that you've discovered that need improvement, because when you're in a relationship over a certain amount of time, your insecurities, once that bond is formed, they're going to come out. And the way you behave in a relationship is based on how you were raised as a child from your parents. What you saw, what happened. So you're more than likely, you're not even going to be aware of this. So someone like myself that leans more secure and anxious, right? More anxious, I'm now able to see my anxious tendencies and when they flare up. I wasn't aware of this during the relationship, but now I'm like, holy fuck, that makes so much sense. I need to go out of my way and learn how to handle this. And the best way I've learned how to handle this so far is if I'm now aware that my anxiety's coming flaring up, well now I know, okay, it's best to just not act on it. So if I'm like, oh my God, where is she? She's not texting me, or I haven't heard from her in 4 days. I don't care, man. Okay, this is building emotional resilience and self-control. I am not going to text you. Because if I text you when my anxiety is high, I'm not improving. I'm acting on that natural instinct to want to fix it, and that happens for everybody that has anxiety. Okay, because anxiety is separation anxiety. So by me not acting on whatever impulse I want to based on my anxiety, I'm slowly teaching myself over time. Hey man, just wait. Let the girl come to you over time. Don't push this. Don't chase her away. Women will come to you when they want to come to you, and you have to learn that. Okay, so me practicing this with other girls that I'm not involved with is really helping out. Now, that's the process right there. Okay, the grieving process right here is gonna hurt. That first month is gonna be the most painful thing you're ever gonna experience, man. You can't get away from that. But if you allow yourself to feel the feelings, go through them, and then self-reflect. Once you hit that point where you start self-reflecting and questioning what happened in the relationship, who she was, who he was, who I was, what I did wrong, what she or he did wrong, what the dynamics were in the relationships to begin with, what you liked, what you didn't like. Once you hit that point, which for me is usually about the 2-month mark, if I had to give time frames for it, you're going to see once you hit that point, things slowly start getting better and better from there. Okay, because when you self-reflect and you start learning how to work on yourself and you can go out and improve yourself, I've been told at this point several times, Mitchell, you're maturing, you're more aware of things that you weren't aware of before, you're becoming a better person. I can see it. Okay, so when others compliment you, that's a good feeling. All right? And then again, once you start learning new skills and going out and practicing, you're going to get to a point where, like I said, you're going to be open for meeting new people, going out on new dates, and doing stuff, because that confidence is starting to come back, and it will come back naturally as long as you don't sit there and ruminate on your ex. I have watched get your ex back videos. I'm not going to sit here and lie. And there are people in the comments that are like, oh my God, it's been a year. I don't think she's ever coming back. Like, dude, you're a fucking loser if it's been a year and you're still worried about your ex coming back. If you're not trying to move on after like 3 or 4 months, I think something's wrong with you. Now, granted, it could take a little longer than that, but I would think that after a year, you're choosing not to do anything. You're choosing. So you're going to sit here and live a poor me, she broke up with me life, and that she's better than you. I don't care how hot she was, how good she was. I promise you, there is always a better woman or man out there that will treat you the way that you wanted to be treated, that you weren't being treated in that relationship. I promise you. People are replaceable. You will find better, and it will happen sooner than you think, even though time is unfortunately, we have to wait. But I promise you, when that new relationship surfaces, you're going to look back at what happened now, and you're going to laugh and say, wow, you know what, that was a good relationship or a bad relationship. That sucks I had to go through it. But look at my life now. Look at the person I am now because that happened. And I'm promising you, life's going to get better because of that, okay? So that's going to be the video, guys. Go ahead, like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more. And if you have any ways to get over heartbreak that you do yourself, please leave them in the comments. I would love to see that. And I'm sure in the future other people would as well. With that being said, guys, talk to you soon.